Hey everybody. So Lori and Cheryl and I just got back from the Bob Heilig training, the Impact and Growth Summit. It was incredible. It was in Orlando and got to meet Bob Heilig. First, I got to meet him in the elevator, and then we got to meet him for real later. And it was just great. And if you don't know who Bob Heilig is, you're going to get to know who he is. We've shared some videos. We'll be sharing more. But we're going to just kind of have a conversation with you guys and share what we learned, some of the main takeaways that we had, which I'm going to just start with this because I started to make it a post, and I probably still will post it. But on the plane when I was coming back, I just kind of made some notes. He had such great quotes, don't you think, Laura and Cheryl?
Yes.
They
all did.
What's that? Yeah.
They all did.
Yeah. That was the neat thing. It wasn't just Bob Heilig. I was kind of surprised. I didn't really know that going in. There were several different speakers, some that I'd heard of before. Lots of them were just people in the network marketing profession that had been successful that I'd never heard of before. But they were all so full of wisdom, just being in this industry. And literally we all took pages and pages of notes because you just wanted to write every word down because it was all just so inspirational and powerful. So you guys talk while I look for this a minute, Lori and Cheryl. Tell us what your thoughts were.
Well, yeah, the whole idea that everybody was so positive. And, the other thing is they were young, weren't they? They were some young people that were being so inspiring and positive to think that at the age that they were, or at least appeared to me, to think that they just really seemed to have their stuff together in their head, which, trickled down to how successful they are in their business, in my opinion. But it was just incredible. And yeah, there was never a boring moment. I don't think. How many, I've been to a gazillion conferences, but they had us on the, yeah.
But it was all up here.
Yeah, you didn't have that moment where you were like, are they going to bring out cookies in the back because I'm about to fall asleep? You didn't have any of that. You were just hanging on the edge of your seat the whole time.
You didn't want to get up and go potty. It's
No.
I don't want to go potty because I might miss something because the only break they had was lunch.
Yeah. Cheryl brings up a good point. This was 9 to 5, Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday was 9 to 3. And yeah, you literally had to time your bathroom breaks. When they would switch speakers, that was the time to go potty because you sure didn't want to miss a speaker. It was so good.
Yeah, it was.
It was fantastic.
And one of the, you were mentioning, Cheryl, that, they invested, that these young people knew so much. They had so much wisdom, even people that had just been in the industry 2 or 5 years. But I kept hearing from all of them that they invested their time and money in personal growth and development. Didn't you guys get that takeaway too? Yeah. Some of them spent thousands upon thousands of dollars in it, and it was not cheap for us, the 3 of us, to fly to Orlando and get a hotel. And, there's even more to the story with Lori. She had to rent a car at one point, but, that was sacrifice, but personal growth and being at these kind of leadership development things are so worth it. I remember last year, Christine went to one called Mastermind, and it was super expensive to go. And I remember just thinking, I honestly just felt like I didn't know if I saw the value in it, because we have our Plexus convention, which is always very wonderful and awesome and totally worth it. But I left there feeling like I just had convention. I'm going to say better. It's different, you know what I mean? But it was just I got filled up. My cup was full. I'm going to read, my phone just turned off, this quote that says, which really resonated. Bob Heilig said this. He said, there are way more people hurting and in need of help than people who, I am messing it up. I'm so sorry. there are way more people hurting and in need of help than there are people that are healing and serving.
And that was huge when we all read that. Remember how we all reacted? It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I mean, it just resonated so big, and it kind of culminated the whole thing, because his whole thing was service, love, and giving back.
I'm gonna need y'all to write that down.
I almost posted it yesterday, Rebecca. I almost made it a post on my Facebook page.
Yeah, well, yeah, Brooke Hemingway actually posted. That's why I copied and pasted it to post it every day.
Okay, well, I need to see that.
There, like this one quote though, there are so many quotes. Let me look for the other one I was going to give you guys. Why can't I find it? Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. Well, one of the quotes that my favorite person said, she said a couple things, but one of them that I wrote down was name it, claim it, choose to go through it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool.
Awesome. What about you, Lori? Do you have any?
Yes. I have many. I have a couple that I would maybe thinking of one that I'll start with this one though. We have 60,000 thoughts a day. Now, one of the things that they talked about was out of those 60,000 thoughts, take a weekend, let's say, or even a day, and write down anytime you have a negative thought. And then look at how many negative and self-limiting thoughts that you have. Mm-hmm. And then take those negative and self-limiting thoughts and then positive affirmations and out of those.
Yeah.
So that was one of the big ones. I was trying to find the name of that speaker. I've got it here because she was fantastic. Danielle Cole.
Yeah.
She was extremely good.
Can I piggyback on that a little bit?
Yep.
I have one little idea that I thought was so cool that I'd never heard of before. I mean, of course, we all know about like the affirmations apps on your phone and all that. But anyway, she also said like find your motivational your motivational song. Like for me, I love that song. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. You know, and she said, you know, play that, like record that song and then record yourself giving yourself affirmations in the song, you know, and I thought, what a great idea, you know, when you're having a hard time or going through a tough season to do that too. I like that a lot. Then Cheryl, I think Cheryl was going to share some stuff that she got from, there was a psychologist that was all about happy psychology, which I've never heard of, but it was really good stuff. You can almost get training on it, honestly.
Her name is Nick Pigeon, and she's from the UK. And she was probably, for me, the most powerful speaker that I saw. And she is a positive psychologist. That's what she is, a positive psychologist. And this gal has gone through so much trauma in her life. And that's one thing that she told us when she was talking. She said, I have overcome big obstacles. And when she was 11 years old, she's an extremely intelligent young lady. I tried to Google how old she is, and I haven't found it yet because she looks very young. She looks like a Barbie doll.
She looked like a movie star.
Yeah. When she was 11, she was so unhappy and fearful because she got bullied. She tried to take her life. She didn't share that part with us. This is what I've read about her. And then as she got in her teen years, you know, she tried to absorb as much information as she can because she loved to learn. And so she started focusing on exercising and stuff to almost a dangerous degree. And then she changed she had a partner that was a professional cricket player, and he had like a therapist or something, and the therapist told her partner that, you know, don't look as the other opposing players as what you're trying to go through, you know, to go through. Look for the in between the players, because you're going through obstacles. So in life, we need to go through obstacles. Mm-hmm. And she said that's when she changed her degree to psychology in college. And this woman was raped, and she was locked in a taxi cab and raped. I'm assuming by the taxi driver, Rebecca. Didn't you get that?
Yeah, that's what I've got.
Yeah. And then when she, then a little bit older, just a few years back, she accidentally cut her eyeball on with a contact lens, and she got a flesh-eating amoeba. Ugh. I mean, she has gone through so many obstacles, you know, to think that she is the positive person that she is today, and she's teaching all of us to be that way. You know, it says a lot. But she, you know, a couple of things that she said that she stressed was business is an emotional journey. So, you know, you have a new mindset, you have new results in that. And she said, you need to speak positive to yourself. Like Lori was saying, you know, say things like, I love to do it. I'm excited to do this. You know, I cannot wait to get this done. And she said, continually say things like that to yourself. And then she stressed that every phase of growth requires a different mindset. And I thought that was interesting too, every phase of growth. And then, I don't know if I can find it. She had like she had a graph and a piece of pie, and I'm going to try to remember what the percentages were. You know, you've got a circle, and it's broken. 50% is genetics on your happiness. 50% is genetics and the way you're raised, etc. 10% are circumstances, and the other 40% is in your mind. So you have that much control, total control with your mind of your happiness and your mindset. And I thought that was pretty cool when she said that.
That's powerful, because usually you're going to say, oh, it's because of my situation that I am the way I am, you know, or if I didn't have this going on, I'd be happy. But it's really, that's just 10% of it. So that's pretty interesting.
It is. I mean, it really is interesting because, well, I'll talk about it later. But the one thing that you know, of course, this just happened this weekend. So on Monday, these are things that she suggested. You know, she said, in the morning, when you wake up, the first thing you should do is show gratitude. Mm-hmm. So you wake up in the morning, you show gratitude, write down what you are grateful for. And then take at least 10 minutes to practice. No, 10 minutes to show gratitude, and then 5 minutes to practice meditation of some kind. And she said there are so many apps out there, so many things on YouTube that can help you meditate and take a few minutes to do that. And I downloaded an app called Headspace. And you have control over how long you want to do it. So like yesterday, I thought, oh, you know, this is going to be new for me. I kind of have done meditation before, but it's been a long time. And so I did it 3 minutes, and it's, you know, it's a man talking very softly. He has an accent. And so it's very relaxing. So today it gave me the option of increasing my time. So I increased my time to 5 minutes. And I want to increase, you know, a little bit day by day, depending on how much time I have. But again, you set your alarms in the morning so you can get up and spend time to do these important things. The other thing that she had us do, remember Rebecca, she had us all stand up, and we had to close our eyes. And she said, now imagine what the perfect place would be for you. Who would you be with? And the whole time your eyes are closed, you know, who would you be with? What are the sounds that you would hear? and she said a few other things like that. And then everybody she had us all open our eyes, and she said, in the perfect world that you would like for all this to happen, she said, now I want you to take 20 minutes and write those things down. Mm-hmm. And they're written down on paper. So I got so much out of her. I mean, she was my favorite. And I downloaded her book on my app. She has a book, and it's called Now Is Your Chance. And it's a 30-day guide on helping yourself become a happy person and create positivity. So I haven't started yet. I just downloaded it last night, like at midnight when I went to bed.
That's awesome.
But she just was so inspiring to me, among all the others. But how she has overcome those horrible things in her life, and I have overcome a few horrible things in my life too, and most recently a separation from my husband. But I also at one point was held captive and bound and gagged and molested, and I'm sharing that because, I think it's important that we all can get over these things, and it just depends on what direction you want to take. And I didn't think about how I have overcome that particular situation, and it was so long ago, until she said it, that day on stage, and it was like I can sort of relate to her. Of course, I'm not the positive psychologist that she is, but I like to say that I am kind of a happy person.
Yeah.
You can't overcome so many things if you can't let your life take you down. You just can't. So.
That is so good. And I'm glad you brought that up, Cheryl. And thank you for sharing that. I'm sorry that you went through that. It's so brave of you to share that in this group. But, that is the truth. And I was reading Girl, Wash Your Face on the plane. I'm still reading that. And I don't remember which chapter it is, but it talked kind of exactly about that. Think about, you're always thinking about, well, why can't I get to this spot? Why can't I get to the next thing? I think it's chapter 10. Instead of writing down all the things you have accomplished and all the things you have done and how far you've come in life, despite the tragedies or the horrible things that have happened. And that gets back to that whole thing of writing down your gratitude too. Mm-hmm. And writing down, I've heard even when Christina's, I think it was in the Emerald Bound group, the first one she did, she did that with us. She said, close your eyes and envision yourself, in Maui. What does it feel like? The sand in your toes, the beach, the waves, who are you beside on the beach? Who are you enjoying that moment with? So that is a powerful, powerful thing. And, I know we're not really talking about the Bob stuff right now, but, that is part of this journey, is having a good outlook and having positivity and learning and growing on this journey, because it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And you go through hard times and hard situations. And anyway, yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. It was great.
Mm-hmm. There was somebody else that made me cry, but I'm not going to talk about. Lori can talk about that. Caught me off guard.
I don't remember you crying.
That's because you went to the bathroom.
Well, great. I might have been crying right along with you. What did I miss? We're going to talk about it.
I'm trying to think of
I'm telling you, you just don't go to the bathroom at these things.
I know, it was so great.
You don't.
Was it Brittany Kaplan?
Positive affirmations or something? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was Brittany Kaplan.
It was Brittany.
Mm-hmm. The with the fancy shoes.
Oh yeah, those were some shoes.
Yes. Yeah.
But she said, I am worthy. I remember that now. I remember this discussion.
Yes.
I'm worthy. I am. I don't know what else she said, but
I'm courageous. There were 4 things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's huge. You have to be able to, that's right now in our accountability group, some of the girls are not writing I am, they're just kind of, I'm like, no, that you are speaking it into existence. It is faith, stepping out of faith. So important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I wrote down, or I typed up, I had it. Oh, there it went. Okay. These are just little tiny quotes that Bob, I think most of these are from Bob. There might be one or two that aren't, but like when he said, fear leads us in our path for our purpose. So like you have to have fear to get to the purpose. So it's okay to be afraid. Like for him, he never was a public speaker. He hated public speaking. He was terrified of it. But this is another quote that kind of leads into that. He said, your biggest fears are oftentimes simply a reflection of your greatest gifts. So whatever you're like terrified of to do, I know even myself, I used to never think of myself as a leader, and I used to be kind of terrified of that. And, when I was a New Gold Ambassador, Christine did this 21 Laws of Leadership, and I didn't feel worthy of that study or worthy of that book because I didn't feel like I was a leader. I didn't know what I was doing. But, even if you're scared, you can grow into that, and there may just end up being one of your gifts. The other quote that I wrote down was, don't operate from your circumstance, create from possibilities. What other people think of you and their opinions is not their business. And the last one I wrote down was, fear is a realization and courage is a decision. I thought those were really good ones. Those are just short little one-liners.
There was one tip that I liked that he gave us. It says, network marketing is not so much a sales business as it is a business of teaching and training. It's a business of duplication. I thought that was good.
Yeah. Another thing that I really liked was, and I don't know if Lori was going to share this or not because I kind of told her to share about I feel like I'm talking a lot. Do you want to say something, Lori? Tell us what you want to share about.
I just thought one thing that he said was, just to think about that you have access to 2 billion people from your phone.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
2 billion people. So just thinking about the fact that, yes, social media is great, but it's also, it's the best thing for the profession of network marketing. It can also be the worst thing for the profession of network marketing. Yeah. Sometimes we rely too heavily on it, and I thought that was just interesting take on it, just because he does talk about social media, but I think that the aspects that he talks about with social media, which I missed that day too, but I think just his normal conversations about social media is, he talks about talking about yourself, not just the business.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think, for me, when he talked about, there's two things. This I definitely wanted to bring up. He talked about the difference between a success mindset and a significance mindset. And that leads right about what Lori was talking about. If you're just always selling your thing and your Facebook wall looks like an advertisement, that's definitely not making an impact on people. And he always likes to say, did that add value to your life? It sounds kind of cheesy, but when you meet him, you see that he is so sincere, and that's his whole thing, is adding value to people's life and giving back and living out your purpose and being a light. So success mindset is all about, what can I get? What can I earn? I wrote it down, impact. So his whole thing is impact before income, and a lot of times I think in network marketing, we've gotten a bad rap of being all about, well, how can I earn the income? How can I make money off this person? Or how can I get to my next rank? Or, or get the car or whatever. And he's talking about, bringing value to people's lives and serving them and having the right intentions and being vulnerable and showing them who you are. And that's way more attractive. People, they had panels on there of people that have been in network marketing and how people would reach out to them and say, you know, I'm so glad you shared that today because it really helped me go through the hard time that I'm going through. And so that's way more of a connecting thing than just slapping up an advertisement about your thing that you're selling, you know, or join my team or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was really powerful too. Because success is significant mindset is that, just that, bringing people, you know, the world, this was a quote, he said, the world doesn't need our products, it just needs the solution that it provides. One more was people are not hoping and praying for an opportunity, they're praying for the solution to their problems.
I thought one of the big things from day one that he talked about was you kind of paraphrased one of the tips that he mentioned, where it was the areas where you feel most stuck, frustrated, and annoyed provide you with the greatest opportunities for personal and spiritual growth. Mm-hmm. So that was one of the big things. And then he talked about two different types of fear that we have, irrational fears versus rational fears. So irrational fears being those thoughts and the, you know, made up things. And, you know, study says that makes up 95% of our fears are irrational. And the rational fears are actual reality. The building's on fire. I need to get out. So that's a rational, real fear. So basically those are like 5%. So he's talking about that those irrational fears lead us to our purpose, which was big. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
that was good.
I think I found the page you were on, and I wrote down negative emotions of your past is the key to unlocking your potential. Mm-hmm. You know, so use that for good.
And facing your fears and taking action. And he got the girl on stage to do the Facebook Live.
Yeah, I put that on the page. You guys saw that.
Yeah. That was good. All of the speakers, though, just to echo, all of the speakers were fantastic.
They were.
Yeah. They really were. And you guys, he did do quite a bit of training on that Saturday about Instagram and about LinkedIn. And we're going to be sharing that, you know, little bits and pieces and some onboarding systems about how to, you know, get your new ambassador set up right. And we're totally going to be incorporating that within the next few days. I hope we're working on it. But just really, really good stuff coming. And one of the things he said about, you know, getting people started off right. I mean, that's the thing, like, we have all these different things, but sometimes it's still hard to know what to tell somebody. And, you know, like he was saying how you can have people that are system dependent or people dependent. And when you're people dependent, sometimes that doesn't always work. Sometimes that's how people fall through the cracks, you know, because everybody's going to have a different way of doing it, or, you know, or maybe you don't have the time to invest and that person doesn't feel like you care. Like there's all these subjective things that can go wrong when you're totally people dependent. So having a system that works is going to be so much more streamlined, so much more set for success with people. And it empowers, you know, the leaders because it's duplicatable. It's not like super hard, you know. And you talk too about like some of what can go wrong. I mean, we have a lot of it down, like we have our first post and magic post, and we've done a lot of good things and we've done a lot of things right. But, and that was one of the things I walked away with too. I know Lori, and, you know, cause like some of this stuff we've already been starting to implement, like the ATM, you know, add, tag, and message. They talked about that. That was John and Nadia, if you know who they are. They're hysterical. but like some of the things we're doing right. But he was saying how, like when you have a new ambassador, and we've all been there, right? Like they do that long message that's plexus vomit. They don't know how to tell their person, they may or may not put you in a 3-way chat, even though we've recommended it. Like there's all these things. And he was saying how, you've got to have them a system in place, how they do it, like they do a little third-party tool, and, that way it's duplicatable. It's not like they're just pulling it out of the sky and trying to wing it. So I'm super excited about getting out some of those documents and onboarding tools that we're going to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was something else that I thought was pretty powerful that was said on Sunday, and I can't remember exactly who said it. I have to go back and look, but I just came across it as I was flipping through, and it was talking about. They talked about, how to identify that potential star and the P's, chemistry, character, coachability, and commitment. And, basically those are all self-explanatory, but he gave little definitions of those. Are they truly committed to success, and are they willing to follow direction and kind of go through that onboarding? But then there was a tip that said, and this really kind of hit me, because I always feel, I always feel that, maybe I'm not doing enough or something. So the tip was that you are not responsible for success, you're responsible to their success. So just, that you just need to, they need to, have that drive as well, basically. You didn't want to do it.
That's a huge thing. Didn't they have like an analogy too of like, I don't know, where am I getting this? Like it's just heavy to be like carrying somebody, like they're heaping up on your back, and that's exhausting,
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you can release that and realize, it's their business, it's how they want to treat it. It's what, what's driving them. And so,
and your goal should be to become insignificant in your own business.
mm-hmm.
Meaning that you're not the one that's always, getting the messages direct.
Yeah.
Yeah. That it's all trickling down, and everybody is, kind of going to the sponsor instead of everybody coming to that one person, that one center person. So just, not making it about you, and making it about developing them as leaders. And
Absolutely. Empowerment,
yeah, and giving that.
That's huge. Yeah, absolutely. Because
So
he talked about
cool.
like people outranking you. He was like that, because he gave an example of somebody that was really like bothered by that and upset. And he's like, no, that's wonderful, because it shows that you helped develop that leader. You helped shine the light on them. And that's what we should be doing as leaders, is shining the light on our team, on our people. And so, yeah, I thought that was really a good point too.
Yeah, he said that was the biggest compliment you could get, really, if somebody outranks you. Because that means you've done a great job of leading them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think one thing that stands true for you, Lori, and Rebecca, and of course I've never met Christina in person, but I can tell that she has the biggest heart. He said leadership is not a right, it's a responsibility, and you don't measure a leader by their paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
You measure a true leader by what is in their heart. And I think with our team, this is totally you guys, Lori and Rebecca and Christine and, the others above her. But yeah. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
It is. And, but the thing is, like, and he talked about this too, like as a leader, you are learning all the time and you make mistakes and you go through hard times and,
And you admit those mistakes it's okay to admit those mistakes to the people that you're trying to teach, because then they know that you're a real person, they're not really perfect. They don't really know it all,
Not at all.
And just by attending this weekend, it was just mind blowing the amount of information and detail that they provide. And, I don't know if we're going to discuss much about the onboarding, but there was a gal that Brittany Kaplan that I mentioned a couple of quotes and some things that she had talked about, but she had an incredible story about her life, and I'm still curious if she used Plexus to help her with her issues.
Yeah, her health issues were crazy.
Yeah, so I am still curious about that. We did pretty easily figure out what network marketing company she is with.
Yeah.
But she has basically a one-page onboarding process, and she pushes that out and her leaders push that out to every single new ambassador. Or, in our case, it would be ambassador. So every single person that joins the team gets that new onboarding sheet, and you have that call with them and basically kick it off and go through and explain what you expect them to do or what, they should take a look at and fill out and get that sheet back to you completed. As far as what goals they have, what is their why, basically why they're doing this, why they're joining, so that where up front where they're at. And if we all have this one onboarding system in place, how much easier would that be?
I would love that. That would be so incredible. And the other thing too, Lori, that they when she was explaining that, then you could figure out who was just in it for the discount and who was in it because they wanted to do the business. So it's not that you pay attention to everybody, but you focus more on those. You I don't know how to say it without it sounding bad.
You run with your runners.
Yeah.
Know who that, and that basically tells you your 20% and your 80%. And then if they're not getting the information back to you, then you kind of push them out for follow-up, as far as that sheet. But of course you still want to do your normal weekly
I think what's so great about having that sheet is that, we're still working on the sheet. Okay, you guys, we have like several examples. One of the cool things about going to this thing was there were about 30 jewels at that training from Plexus. And so I'm in a chat, and there's like 3 or 4 different onboarding sheets available to us. So we're just tweaking it and kind of making it our own. But what I like is that path A and path B. And I definitely want to put that on our sheet, because even the people that say, no, I don't really want to go crazy as a business with this. It's more of just, I want to get healthy, or maybe it's like a little hobby. Those people still can bring hope to their friends and family by just getting their products paid for, just finding 3 people. So just imagine if you could help, in the next 3 or 4 months, 3 or 4 people go silver. That's going to be a huge difference on your team growth and probably help you rank up this summer versus, just kind of like, oh, I never talked to them about any of this because I didn't think they wanted to, well, what if one of those ones that just goes silver just to get their products paid for ends up being a total rock star and wants to go all the way, and they just didn't know it yet because they didn't have the passion yet. I mean, that's how all of us started. We didn't know we wanted to do this, and so I just love that we're going to have an implementable system that's duplicatable, that's, we're going to be able to talk to people on the phone and have something that's very professional instead of just like, oh, I'm not sure where to send you. Like, I got this Facebook page and this group and this other thing, and go to your website, and like it just gets kind of lost. So I'm really excited to be bringing this out to you guys here very soon. And I'm getting a lot of help with Lori and Stephanie. We're all coming together to make it good.
Yes. And our challenge. What was our challenge for the week? For 7 days. What do we need to do?
7 days?
Within the next 7 days, what are we supposed to do?
For 7 days in a row, what are we supposed to do?
We're supposed to, over the next 7 days, we're supposed to implement 3 things
that we learned.
Yeah. Okay. Well, one of them is, for me, a morning routine. Desperately needed. Yesterday I did better. Today I didn't do as good, so I got to get back on the wagon. What was the other 2 I wrote down? Oh, well, it was doing this onboarding system. That's definitely on my list. There was one other one. I can't remember my other one. Do you guys know? You remember yours, Lori? I got yours right in front of you. Oh, I see it. I know what the other one was. I want to do Facebook Lives 2 times a week, not just 1 time, 2 times a week. So good look for more opportunities to do Facebook Lives. We are going to be challenging you with that, because that is definitely a big takeaway that I got from Bob Heilig. Cheryl about pooped her pants when he said they did 30-day live challenges, like a live every day for 30 days. Cheryl goes, oh, no, you're not going to think. Are you not thinking about that, are you, Rebecca? And I'm like, I'm writing it down.
I said, don't get any ideas, sister. And she goes, I've already written it down.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I can't imagine doing a live every day.
No, I don't think we're going to quite do. I don't know. Maybe that would make the big difference, right? Jeffrey's thinking he's going to do that. We watch.
Well, and as soon as they said that, because they said that 30 days of lives like a gazillion times, and then they said it again, and so I just had this inkling that Rebecca was going to write that down, and so I started in the back of my notebook writing all kinds of ideas for lives. So I'm ready for at least 20.
Oh my gosh! Well, then maybe I better pray about this. Maybe we should do it.
No, I'm not saying that I want to.
Well, then Cheryl tipped me off about that, so I started a list too.
Well, I was flipping my notebook to the back and just writing stuff down, and Lori looked over one time and I said, I'm suspicious we're going to have to do several lives in a row, so these are ideas that they're coming to my head. So, yeah.
Right,
it's a great idea. It's a great idea. So, but
here's the important thing about Facebook Lives that we learned from Bob Heilig, and even on your Facebook wall, and posts, just think of things that bring value to people, and don't go saying the Plexus word all the time and saying your specific product and your company name. Don't vomit that all over the place, because he's right. That creates so much more curiosity if you're leaving a little bit of mystery to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe have your, maybe if you're doing your live, you just happen to have like your pink drink in your hand and you're talking, and you don't say anything about Plexus. But you hashtag it.
Yeah, but I did love this concept with his time management, actually, making your schedule in advance, and as far as taking that time, like on Sunday, to schedule out your week and about your posts.
I know, no, it's a struggle, but he's right. I need a routine in the worst way, and
right, and then and then what he said was just going into Monday with a plan to hit the ground running rather than crashing.
Crash landing on Monday. He had a quote for that. That was great.
Yeah, no crash landing on Monday.
Although I have to say, when you have jet lag and you're tired, you do crash a little.
Yeah, yesterday I was toast after getting home at almost 2. So.
All right, you guys, I have to go. I have to go on my next Zoom with my accountability group. But I'm really glad we did this. I hope you guys found some value in this.
I hope so. I hope so too. And I can't wait to start reading my book.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you ordered the book, The Happy. What's it called again?
It's called Now Is Your Chance.
Very good. You were meant to be there, Cheryl. I'm so glad you came. And I just want to shout out Lori and Cheryl for going to that thing and I'm glad, honestly, you guys, I had heard about it and I had thought about it, but I was like, oh, Florida, it's such a long ways away. It's such a long flight. I'm going there again in June. I was making all the excuses. And then Lori said, I think I'm going to go. And I was like, well, if she's going, then I'm going. And then the next thing I know, Cheryl gets to go because she's in Florida. And I'm like, yay. So it was a great, great experience. And if you ever get the chance to go see Bob Heilig, he is talking about doing, I don't know when he's registering for them, but he's going to be in like 4 or 5 different cities. One of them, Chicago, Jeffrey. And California, yes. Jennifer, they go to California.
Yes, Southern California in November. Chicago, Illinois is August. And it's a 1 day.
1 day. So and it's much more reasonably priced. He said it was going to be like maybe $50 or something. So that's not nearly as crazy. Right. Is he going to be in Florida again soon too for Tony?
He is going to be in Clearwater for 2 days. And it's right after convention, like the week after convention. So timing on that may not be the best, but it's a 2-day intense something. It's a little bit different.
I think it was leadership.
Yeah.
Well, too bad I'm not going to live in that area anymore because you could all just stay at my apartment.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, that's right after Cheryl moves to the other side.
All right, you guys. I have to get off because my meeting is going to start. So.
Yep. It'll be fantastic. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Oh, wait,
I love you guys.
Stop the recording. Here we go. Okay.
Yeah, stop the recording.
All right, you guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye.